Recognized as the most elite military force the Adeptus Administratum can call upon, the Tempestus Scions are the truest sense of a human elite soldier. Equipped with the best war gear and disciplined by the highest military standards, the Scions are trusted to complete just about any mission High Command orders. This flexibility on the battlefield can be credited to the 5 distinct units that operate within the Militarum Tempestus. Each one of these forces has a different functionality that exemplifies a particular battlefield niche. The most common unit that has become the face of the Tempestus Scions are the Stormtroopers. Stormtroopers operate in the broader Astra Militarum as an elite special force. They act as shock troopers and commandos, conducting raids behind enemy lines and acting as the spearhead for later offensive assaults. So when the Imperial Guard needs an elite force for a special mission, they call upon the Stormtroopers. And the creation of the Stormtroopers also follows the template of all Tempestus Scions. They are recruited from the orphan sons of Imperial officials and military officers from all across the galaxy, such as planetary governors or high-ranking members of the Astra Militarum or the Imperial Navy. Raised within the Schola Progenium under the care of the Ecclesiarchy, they live a demanding life of prayer, study, and physical exercise. This punishing training regime hones their minds, bodies, and skills to the very peak of human perfection. These potential Stormtrooper candidates are notable for their outstanding skills in the art of war, but they lack the iron personality and charisma that would earmark them to become Imperial Commissars or Imperial Guard officers, or the affinity for space warfare that would make them Imperial Navy officers. They also don't have any real-world connection to any planet or regiment, and so are mostly fighting for their own personal glory. That's why they are called Glory Boys by the guardsmen that fight alongside them. The Stormtrooper will be sent anywhere they are needed and can be commanded by almost any military high command. And now we move on to the second most common type of Tempestus Scion unit, the Grenadiers. Unlike standard Stormtroopers, Grenadiers are raised from the toughest and most skilled members of an already existing Imperial Guard regiment. This practice is normally found on high martial worlds such as Cadia or Krieg. Grenadiers are also not likely to be orphans. They are selected while they are still in the youth armies of the local planetary defense force or during Imperial Guard basic training. They are then enrolled in special academies where they receive additional training to bring them up to the standard of a Stormtrooper. They are utterly dedicated to the preservation of the Imperium and follow the ethos of duty and honor just like the rest of the Stormtroopers. And while most Stormtroopers are seen as arrogant by the guardsmen that fight alongside them, Grenadier are looked up to and seen as a model to follow and emulate. This is because Grenadiers come from the same world as the rest of the regiment that they operate in. Some worlds create such noteworthy Grenadiers that the Militarum Tempestus recruits Scions exclusively from that planet and spread them out to other regiments all across the galaxy. Examples of this type of Tempestus Scions are the Catachan Devils and the Cadian Kazarkin. These units are trained in more specialized environments that pertain to their planet. In the case of the Catachan Devils, they are seasoned jungle fighters bred to be deadlier in close combat than the standard Stormtrooper. They also are named after the voracious predator that stalks their world and who they try to emulate in combat. The Kazarkin are a dying breed who come from the destroyed planet of Cadia. The years and years of constant warfare on the Fortress planet created this elite fighting force that specializes in city fighting. Their name translates to Citykin in the Cadian dialect of Low Gothic. Both of these units are used by other Imperial Guard regiments, but most importantly are highly respected, unlike the standard troopers. And now we move on to the next unit of Tempestus Scions, the Inquisitorial Stormtroopers. The Inquisition maintains a number of fortresses all throughout the galaxy, both secret and known to the inhabitants of the Imperium. Inquisitorial Stormtroopers are used by the Inquisition to guard these fortresses. And aside from standing vigil over these fortresses, the Inquisitorial Stormtroopers also protect or aid the Sisters of Silence on the Black Ships as they make their purity runs across the Imperium sectors. They are also there to augment any individual Inquisitorial personnel force with reliable and effective soldiers. They are trained and equipped in the same manner as a Militarum Tempestus Stormtrooper, but they lack the rapid insertion and infiltration skills. They usually are not expected to undertake these missions, however. They are also not orphans. They are usually selected from families with a record of unwavering faith in the Emperor and prior duty to the Inquisition. And finally we get to the last unit of Tempestus Scion that's not even really a Scion because it's not ruled over by the Adeptus Administratum, the Kill Squad Trooper. They are used to enforce execution warrants or when extreme prejudice is required. Though not true Tempestus Scions, as they serve a planetary government and not the Imperium directly, the troops that comprise kill squads are often trained to the same elite level as most standard stormtroopers, but that's because the planetary governor is wealthy enough to afford this. On some worlds, where the rule of the planetary governor is a dictatorship or is harsh, kill squad troopers are the hated embodiment of the Lord's tyranny. And now that we know the different units of Tempestus Scions that we would see on the battlefield, let's take a look at some of the Imperium's most notable Scion regiments. One of the Imperium's most unusual regiments of Tempestus Scions is the 9th Iotan Gorgons. This regiment is frequently tasked to campaigns alongside the warriors of the Adeptus Sororitas, specifically the Order of the Glowing Chalice. Both military forces come from the same Schola Progenium facility on Vidil Prime. The Scions and the Sisters of Battle parted after their trials of compliance into different Adepta of the Imperium, but have since been reunited on the battlefield. Though the Scions have faith only in executing their orders and little else, the missions in which they are often engaged are ultimately on behalf of the Ecclesiarchy. Under this unusual sanction from the Ordo Tempestus, the 9th Iotan Gorgons continue to display exemplary skills alongside the Order of the Glowing Chalice. One of the greatest displays of bravery from the 9th on the shrine world of Sanctus Liz. After the simultaneous suicide of a blood cult, packs of coronet demons had breached the warp. Bloodletters swarmed across the planet on a murder spree, destroying the faithful populace and filling the streets with gore. The Battle Sisters of the Order of the Glowing Chalice led the world's defenses, but were overwhelmed when brass-flanked juggernauts began rampaging through the streets, crippling their vehicles. The Scions of the 9th prevented a more complete atrocity by launching rapid strikes against the demon cavalry, and by baiting the lesser demons into courtyards filled with waiting Taurox primes. This freed the warriors of the Sisters of Battle to purge the rest of the horde, saving the people of Sanctus Liz. The 9th Iotan Gorgons continue to fight alongside the Order of the Glowing Chalice. Many Tempestus Scion regiments develop vendettas against a particular Xeno race. Such was the case for the 33rd Deltic Phoenixes. This regiment was made up of those orphaned by the vicious Dark Eldar strike upon their homeworld of Kaldamor. Though Mindscaping had eliminated the knowledge of this event, the Scions of the 33rd had statistically proven to have a greater kill rate against this particular type of Xenos. The 33rd's greatest hour came upon the Twin Moons of Erendis. A series of raids led by Archon Vaxmar of the Cabal of the Emerald Talon had crippled dozens of Imperial settlements, and numerous high-ranking officials had been taken back to Kamara to be experimented by the homunculi covens. The 33rd Deltic Phoenixes were scrambled to Erendis, where they awaited the next real space assault. When it finally came, it was upon the most populous of the moons. The Scions stormed to the surface as separate, multi-fast response squads. Their speed, tactics, and technology enabled them to shred through the ranks of the Kabbalite warriors, while their Taurox primes destroyed raiders and reavers without mercy. Segmentum Command was greatly impressed by the speed and precision of the Scions' attack, and the 33rd Deltic Phoenixes had since been called upon whenever this deadly Xenos has been sighted. But Archon Vaxmar, who survived the conflict, has not forgotten the destruction of half of his cabal. The embittered Dark Eldar follows the movements of the 33rd Deltic Phoenixes with great interest, and works to arrange a sufficiently painful revenge. To the 33rd, this means nothing. They continue to showboat how easy it is for them to kill the Drukhari. Another highly renowned Tempestus Scion regiment is the 133rd Lambdan Lions. For 2 Terran millennia, the progena who form the many regiments of the Lambdan Lions have served as auxiliaries to the Adeptus Mechanicus. Their Schola Progenium facility and Militarum Tempestus training facilities are based on the 2 moons that orbit the Forge world of Mizoa. Ancient pacts between the Ordo Tempestus and the Adeptus Mechanicus have assigned the Lambdan Lions to fight missions on behalf of the ruling priesthoods of Mizoa, in order to reclaim lost knowledge of Imperial advancements or arcane technologies. In exchange, the Scions benefit from all manner of esoteric augmentations, which are fitted to their vehicles or built into their armor and weaponry, as well as the basic understanding of lingua technis, something rare for the Scions. Though they have little interactions with the cult Mechanicus itself, for Scions care only for their orders. The 133rd Lambdan Lions missions continually aid the Adeptus Mechanicus in its search for further knowledge, so they indirectly work for the glory of the Omnissiah. Unusually for a Militarum Tempestus regiment, the Lambdan Lions will engage in long expeditionary campaigns across worlds that harbor artifacts, rather than preferring missions that involve swift stealth or brutal strikes before retreating. When the situation demands it, the Lambdan Lions will also fight in the shadows of the Collegia Titanica, or alongside the Scutari legions. Mostly, however, they enact the orders of the Mesozoan ruling priesthood whenever sanctioned by the Ordo Tempestus. The labyrinthian nature of imperial bureaucracy means that the Adeptus Mechanicus occasionally issues the Lions with orders even without waiting for official sanction. And that's the lore to the different types of units found within the Tempestus Scions. Talk to you guys tomorrow. This is Gershon with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
Oh, I did the